Hi everyone, today I'm going to walk you through the IXL Diagnostic Action Plan. So this is the data that you will receive after your child takes the IXL assessment. There will be an action plan for both language arts and math, so depending on which test you take or if you take both, you'll receive the data from whichever subject you end up taking. So looking here, we have the real-time diagnostic shows you what you know and what you're ready to learn next. So this gives us a good representation on what grade level your child is in, what specific skills they need to work on in order to be at grade level. It gives you a personalized skill recommendation. So each strand or list of skills will tell you exactly what you should be working on next in order to master that skill until you reach excellence or mastery. After you've mastered that skill, then you can move on to the next skill. So we can see here this student's data is for math. The overall math level is a 210. And when we see numbers like this, 100, 210, 300, we think of it as grade levels. So 200 would mean that the student is testing at the beginning of grade 2, so the beginning of 2nd grade, and they have about 10% of that grade level mastered. So if you see the number move like closer to 300, if the number was 270, they would have about 70% of the grade level mastered. Once you get to 300, then you're moving on to 3rd grade readiness. So this student is testing at a 2nd grade level. It shows us now math strands and recommendations for 2nd grade levels. It also shows us if the student is falling behind in a specific area and not on grade level in a specific strand. So here we can see numbers and operations. They're right at the beginning of 2nd grade. They give one recommended skill, which is to subtract 1-digit numbers from 2-digit numbers. And when you go into view this data on your own, all of these recommended skills are hyperlinked to IXL, and I'll show you what it looks like. So once I click that subtract a 1-digit number link, it's going to bring you right to subtract a 1-digit number from a 2-digit number assignment. It will have you go through the assignment, and once you're done, then it will tell you what you should do next. So if you've mastered it, it will move you on to the next skill that you need to work on. And if you haven't mastered it, you'll continue to have assignments that look exactly like this. If they see that you are very far behind in the skill, we have this bottom part where it says, not feeling ready yet, these can help. So these are some skills that you would need to master first in order to be able to complete this assignment. So you could then, if it was a really difficult lesson for you, go to one of these assignments instead and work towards mastery here first. We can also learn with an example, meaning that they'll give you a description on how to solve the problems. It's really nice for our younger students because they read the questions to you aloud.
Regroup to find 44 minus 6.
Or you can also watch a video to help better understand
Let's
this.
subtract numbers using models. We will need to
Once you feel like you're ready, then you can go back to your example problems to complete the assignment. So back to our data. I just wanted to show you guys how all of these are linked to the specific skills that would be needed in order to continue to grow this number towards the 3rd grade math level. Next is algebra and algebraic thinking. The recommended skill is addition sentences for word problems, 1-digit plus 2-digit numbers. This is showing a 2nd grade standard, and this is showing a 1st grade standard. So they caught that even though she is 280, there was one skill that she struggled on within this strand that she does have to master in order for this number to get any higher. And so they picked this 1st grade skill that she should go back and view and practice before moving on. Then we have fractions. They would be working on equal parts. Geometry. We see her geometry number is a little lower than all the rest. This could be due to having lack of exposure in her curriculum, or it could just be lack of practice. And so they actually recommend 3 skills from starting in pre-K and moving on to kindergarten. You would have to, again, master these skills before you can see this number get any higher. So this is probably where you would want to start looking first. Since some of these other numbers are higher, we would choose geometry and these specific 3 recommended skills to work on before we focus on any of these that she's already in 2nd grade in. Measurement and data statistics and probability. She's showing, again, 2nd grade 200 and 280. They give 2 recommended skills for measurement, one from 1st and one from 2nd. And when I say 1st and 2nd, those are referring to standards that your curriculum will also follow. And so if you are following a 2nd grade curriculum, you will likely see measuring using a centimeter ruler at some point throughout that curriculum school year. Same with this 1st grade standard. This would be something that would be included in 1st grade curriculum. Moving on to a student who has taken the language arts diagnostic. We see here that the overall level is 390, which means they're 90% done with 3rd grade skills. And so this student is testing closer to 4th grade. It shows a language arts level, and it also shows reading level. Reading level is a little bit higher than language arts, and it breaks down our strands for us. And so we can see here reading strategies tested 390, gives 4 recommended skills, a couple from 3rd grade, then moving on to 4th grade and 6th grade. So you would want to start by mastering these 3rd grade skills first, then moving on to the 4th grade skill. And if you are doing some higher order thinking or really wanting to challenge your child, then you can move on to the 6th grade skill as well. However, we're going to first look at his other skills. We see vocabularies at 460, and we see writing strategies at 400, but we do see grammar and mechanics is at 300, and he needs to first master this 2nd grade skill. And so that's going to be the skill that we want to focus on first above others, because that is sort of seen as a gap in his learning. In order to get to this 5th grade standard, he needs to first practice this 2nd grade standard. So that's where we would start. We would look at these 2 recommended skills. We see that everything else, he's mostly at 3rd grade, 4th grade, maybe a little above in 5th grade. This is the lowest scoring section. And so we're going to click on that link and work on that assignment first. That's mostly it for our IXL diagnostic data. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we can help you come up with a plan to view your data and kind of the what's next steps. As far as using this data to drive your instruction, if you don't continue using IXL, that's totally fine. This is still a really good representation of what you should look at when you are teaching your next skills. So again, when you're looking at this second grade standard, maybe you're not using IXL to follow up on, maybe you're not going to click this link and create an IXL account. That's totally fine. You're going to want to look at your curriculum that you do have at home provided to you, and you're going to look for greetings and closing of letters. You're going to focus on mastering that skill with your child before you move on to something new. And so this will just really help drive your instruction. Thanks.